Flag.
It's a beautiful day.
806, Need to Know Morning Show, AM 1100 The Flag, WZFG. I love CEO Spotlight, and it is coming right at you here at 806 here on this Tuesday, June 9th. The CEO Spotlight is brought to you by Vaaler Insurance. When it comes to protecting your business, nobody beats Vaaler. In studio with us today is Ty Singman. He is the president of Liberty Home Services and been good enough to take a little bit of time out of his morning. Ty, how are you?
Steve, good morning to you.
Good morning. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate it very much. Always great to visit with somebody that we haven't gotten to know on the program yet, find out what you do and how you do it. So tell us first of all about your company, Liberty Home Services. What do you do?
You know, we're a residential maintenance company, essentially. So Liberty Home Services, I came up with that name for a banner of different unique services we offer. It started off, I wanted to create a business. Didn't want to take a big loan, big debt, so I started this dryer vent cleaning business. You know, bought the equipment and
Dryer vents.
Dryer vent cleaning is where it all started.
All right.
And that same summer, so then that kind of picked up. I did some Facebook marketing and kind of grew. We did some business last year, and we've more than already doubled it already this year. That was nice. And then a friend called and said, I've got this grading issue around my house. If you notice, most of the newer homes here, at some point, the first few years, the ground kind of sinks around. Well, they've already put these big rocks in and everything.
Yeah, right.
What I learned is no one really wants to do the work to pull it out. You can't bring in machines because it's a finished grade situation. It's landscaped and everything. So I did this for a friend, and I was like, this is interesting. This could be a business. I started poking around and realized it was, and then I started marketing it, and it took off.
Wow.
And that's where we do most of our businesses, that negative grade repair. It's commonly seen on home inspections for sales, and it's just a standard problem here in Fargo. Most people don't know the actual name, when they just know that the ground dirt needs to be brought in.
Yeah.
And we've grown in that direction, and then we've added things like in the winter time. Then the winter came last year, and how we're going to survive the winter. So I ordered some min snow to roof raisers, and we started removing snow off the roof. You know, the long where you slide it up and the snow falls down the tarp.
Yeah.
Started doing that, and then I invested into a ice dam removal machine because I heard that people were coming from the cities and charging fortunes to residents here. So I thought maybe I could cut the cost and provide the service locally. So we've just grown into it. The idea was that we started with how can we be busy year round, and not just do standard things. We don't cut grass, we don't do but just unique services that are unique. That if you have the right equipment, they can be offered at different times of year, and that's kind of where we're growing. And we've got some new directions for the future, but that's where we are now.
Yeah, it's a great story. Just kind of looking to see where there's a need and supplying that need. And if you do something that not a whole lot of people do and do it well at a fair price, you're going to stay busy.
Pretty much the concept.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about why you wanted to get into business for yourself. You've got some background in contracting and construction, that kind of thing. So tell us about how the idea all started.
I moved here 8 years, or December 23rd, 2012. And back home, I had a company called Exterior Works. And back on the East Coast was a little different. We have a higher humidity, more waterfront. So I did a lot of pressure washing work and different type of residential maintenance for people, deck maintenance and things. When I came out here, obviously you're not running a pressure washer 7 months, 8 months out of the year in North Dakota. So that was kind of, didn't want to do that. And I actually came back here and I thought if I'd get a job, things would be better. That would be easier. I'd just get a job and I'll go do my job and I'll come home and won't worry about the stresses. Well, someone like me, that was just like basically a prison sentence. It just doesn't, I can't do it. So finally came to terms with myself and said, let's just do this. And we went out and started this business up for the reason of being successful and profiting and making money and offering a service, yes, but really what it is everything for me kind of comes reverse engineers from my children. So when you're working for somebody else, they want you to work. This is essentially the way I think. They want you to work 78 hours a week so they can be with their family. So I kind of flipped the script, and now I'm in charge. My guys have good schedules. I'm flexible with them, pay them well. But at the same time, it's a family-oriented company. Like, it's about the children. It's about family. If you're away so much that you're not with your family, then what's the point of the work? It's got to be a balance. So by being self-employed, I'm able to achieve more of a balance than I'm trying to achieve with my personal and business life.
Very good. Let's talk a little bit about customer service. What is your philosophy on serving your customer? Any phrases or slogans that you use to really make sure that you and your team all have your attitudes where they need to be to take great care of the people that trust you?
A common thing I say to my customers is that when they're working with me, they know that I'm not trying to get rich off of a customer. It just doesn't work that way. You're never going to find a way to get some magical upsell or anything like that, or it isn't how it works. But really the real key to my success, or what I believe to be, is, and I tell my guys, is referrals. It's doing a little bit more, overpromise. It sounds typical, but it's true. A little overpromise, underpromise, overdeliver. You know, if there's an extra bit of work that needs to be done that can take us 30 minutes to do, but we didn't really talk about it, but it would make a big difference, we just do it. And we make sure the customer's aware of it. Hey, we did this for you, no charge. It doesn't happen too often, but it's more of a spirit that you're on the site that you really, when you're there to make a difference. You're not there to cut corners. You're not there to hurry off the job. You're there to get the job done right. And people sense that, and then that leads to referrals. And that's really what we want to do. We want to make people happy and get referrals.
When someone does that for me, like you take your car into the garage or something and they fix something and say, hey, we didn't talk about it. It was a simple thing. It was a $2 part we had. We just fixed it for you, no cost. I'll keep coming back to that place because I know that they're not trying to sell me everything under the hood of the car. Same thing you're talking about.
I met a lady yesterday. She was convinced somehow that she had to have all this, half of her yard removed and all this work done and everything. And she started bringing it up. And I'm just seeing the dollar signs. I'm like, whoa, man, this is great, but I don't really think that's the solution. I think then we started talking and realized her neighbors were having all these trees cut back. And I'm like, once the trees get cut back, you're going to get some sunlight. I think we should just start with a little rototiller and some fertilizer and some seed and get this thing and do a few $100 solution before we dive into the few $1,000 solution. And within a minute of talking to her son-in-law, it was funny because I'm meeting an elderly lady. Her son-in-law was there to make sure that the contractor wasn't going to
take advantage of it.
And he just instantly lowered everything. His guard went down. He was just like, oh, okay. And I'm like, well, I kind of hope you see that's how I work. Like,
yes.
We might have to do that solution later, but let's try this one.
Yeah.
First, and then that's that kind of rapport you build with people, especially in a small community like Fargo. You only get one chance to.
That's right.
To be either trusted or not in this community, and you got to value that.
And people will talk about you, good or bad, and but if they talk about you good, that's about as good as it gets.
You can't pay for anything better than that.
No, you can't.
You can't.
How many people do you have working for you?
I have 3 guys that work for me, 2 full-time and 1 part-time guy.
Okay. Talk about hiring. Give us some good advice on hiring. How do you find good people when you need them?
It's tough. I mean, it's tough because, there's so many jobs available, so there's good people have jobs. And then you find, what I've found in our business is it's more seasonal. We do better with the college kids, people that kind of can have something else to maybe do in the winter because we have less demand in the winter in my business. And so through that, I've got a network of young people I meet through some of the sports friendship from the sports organizations in the area. You can kind of network and meet people, meet parents, get a referral, and next thing you know, you're in. And hey, you have a couple of buddies that are hard workers like you, and next thing you know, you got a couple of kids from the hockey team, and and they're just hardworking kids, and you're paying them well. I pay them better than, at least they tell me I pay them better than anybody else has ever offered them at that, because I have to. I'm asking men to shovel dirt and rocks all day. You better pay somebody well. I mean, it's brutal work. So and then they appreciate it, and it's kind of a give and take in that way.
Tell me about the process of figuring out another business line. You've talked about, we did this for a while, then we said, hey, we could do that too. Tell me what needs to be present in that equation so that you know that not only is it a good idea, but it's going to make good business sense too. How do you work through that to make sure that it doesn't just seem like more work, but it's the right kind of work and it's an area that you really want your company to go?
I've been blessed to meet a lot of people in town, so just do a lot of asking around, do the real estate business, do different contractors, construction. For example, we're looking in for the future into maybe doing window well replacements, and that comes from conversations with a couple of builder buddies that are getting callbacks from houses they built 10 years ago, and they don't have time, and now they're like, well, hold on, these window wells are all rotted. And for me, the big thing for me is I don't really do much financing. I tend to look at something and I say, okay, well, how can I start with the littlest possible, maybe even with next to nothing, and just build and reinvest. I haven't taken a single loan other than my truck. I haven't taken a single loan out for anything. We just do things and we pay as we go. And that's one of the model. I don't really look at, because I'm a small to medium-sized contractor, I do jobs under $5,000 on average. I'm not looking at this stage right now to go buy $40,000 machines. And so that's been kind of neat. I've done everything with I don't have any debt on anything. And so that's been kind of I look at that also. I even at one point looked at doing air conditioning, a dryer vent, home HVAC cleaning. But that was $20,000 worth of equipment for a $500 sale, and I was just like, that seems like a weird margin versus I spent $1,000 in tools and I go out and do $1,000 worth of work. I kind of like that better.
Makes sense to me. Well, and when you go through what we've had with the coronavirus and people all being shut down, when you can keep your balance sheet free of that debt, it lets you weather those storms a heck of a lot better.
It's true.
Than if you got a lot of leverage.
What about truck and insurance? There's other bills that are due, but at least not crazy equipment costs and things are just standing
That's
around.
financing costs of different things. That interest, man, that'll get you. You just try to keep that out of the picture the best you can. Tell me a little bit about what you hope the future holds. Do you hope that you're doing what you're doing now with the team size you're at, or do you hope that maybe we can have 10 guys someday and just do different things around here? What do you think the future holds?
The scalability of this business is simple. I grow one team, and then so the idea is I have a 3-man crew. Once that crew gets to where I'm inundated, they're 2-3 months out. And then that will say, okay, then it's time to bring in the second crew. And you just slowly grow like that. I don't need to just hire. I won't ever hire like 15 guys and try to figure it out. We'll just grow in stages. And then inside that crew, you take that first crew and you train those guys to be your next leader. So from that crew, one guy will part off and he'll become the leader of the next crew and take that same company culture and that same work ethic and the same to that crew, teach those guys. And it's just a slow growth based on the market. The direction I hope is to grow into is more into the grading, into the grading work, window wells, yard grading, maybe getting into some loans and some heavy machinery later. But what they call mini excavators, I don't see us getting into the bigger stuff. Most of our referrals come from larger companies that actually don't have the time to do the small jobs. So actually, almost 100% of my work comes from them.
Okay.
So
tell me how you get the word out about what you do. I've heard your ads here on the flag, and we thank you for that. But you got to do a few different things to try to let people know what you're doing. You know your story so well, but the rest of the world needs to hear it too. How do you do that?
Social media has been the key for me. I've just taken the time to study it, appreciate it. I never really used it till I moved here. And then when I created a distance between my family and friends, everybody, I joined social media. And then through time and learning and different things, I realized, well, what a powerful tool for a small business person to be able to access these people for relatively low costs and direct. I can get direct to people in different ways, but I manage I built my own website, I manage all my own social media presence, I do my own marketing and everything, and that's really been the key. And then combine that with just doing good work. That just gets you in the door. Then after that, it's the good work, the referrals, the follow-up, and good pricing.
What do you enjoy most about being an entrepreneur, being in business for yourself?
For me, it's the example I set for my children. That someday they can see that they can do it. I really want them to see. I don't know. Days are hard. Days are good. We have ups and downs in business, but at the end, I want them to know that they can do whatever they want. They saw us come here with barely nothing. When we first moved here, we had a teen little rental. I think I showed up with like less than $3,000 in my pocket, and that was gone in the first 45 days. And we had no job lined up, nothing. Started doing some construction, and then all that doubt, all that wonder what's going on, and then to build, then go to self-employment, and then to build, and then within the first year self-employment, we had a new vehicle, we moved to a bigger home, and I made sure they knew it. It wasn't bragging. I said, "You guys see what changed? Do you see how fast things changed when we worked for ourselves and we committed and we put our nose to the grind, so we stayed with it, and now look at the changes." And I want them to not realize that wasn't an accident. And then if they can take from that as they grow and continue on, that they believe that, well, I honestly believe I can, based on what I've seen, I can do whatever I put my mind to.
I love that message. We've been talking a lot in social circles here recently about opportunities for everybody in our country, and that there's so many opportunities here, and we're surrounded by opportunities so much. We get a little callous to it. We take it for granted, and people in other countries around the world, they'd give their left arm to be here to have the opportunities we have, and yet sometimes people they don't realize that, hey, it's out there for you. If you want to do it, there's nothing standing in your way.
Especially this area. I come from Maryland, and Maryland's a wonderful state, but it's just packed. And there's people men and women that have been doing every type of field for decades and decades, generations sometimes. So breaking in is building a business is not impossible, but it's difficult.
It's harder. Here
is an entrepreneur's dream. I mean, everything is wide open. Every field, every service, everything, there's opportunity. It's amazing. This opportunity this state has created for me and my family is just incredible.
Great place to be.
We're very thankful.
Tell us again the different things that you do. So if someone is thinking, I could use a little help with this or that they might think of you.
The best place to go to find about us is my website, www.libertyhomeservicesllc.com, and the Facebook page is the same name. My page, you'll pull it right up. It'll show exactly the services that we offer. You can click those, get better descriptions. But we do dryer vent cleanings year-round. In the warm summer months, usually from May to November. So we do the negative grade repair and rockscaping, and then we're getting some grading work. And then in the winter, think of us for heavy snow on your roof. We don't do the ground, the plowing, the parking lots. We do the roof work. So I coordinate with some of those other companies. And then the real big thing I want to develop, and not just here in the Fargo area, I'm willing to go from Minot to probably Duluth for the ice dam removal.
There you go.
So again, it's driving, cleaning, negative grade repair around your foundation, roof raking, and ice dam removal.
Okay. And why Liberty Home Services?
Yeah, I look back and I see that name of the places, and I didn't realize how often it was used. Liberty Taxes, Liberty this and that. But for me, it was I was going through the process of playing with the names. I'm doing my own logo and a Singman services and this and that. And I just said, I didn't want to be so much just me. I wanted it to be something a little bigger. Maybe I could pass on a bigger name. And then I started thinking, well, what do I want the name to be that represents kind of how I feel? And then Liberty was what I selected because to me, it was freedom. To me, it represented this country, the opportunity, the liberties that are given to me, the opportunities me and my family have. And then I just couldn't get off of it. Liberty, Liberty, Liberty. And it was Liberty Maintenance, Liberty this, and then Liberty Home Services was created to kind of encompass all those different services under one brand.
Perfect.
But it was really about the freedom of that's why I picked the name.
A message that plays very well here, sir.
Exactly.
Yeah, it sure does. Ty, it's been great to have you in. All the best. Thanks for telling us your story. Congrats on what you've done, and it sounds like you're just getting started, so keep it going.
I appreciate it. Thanks a lot for having me on today.
You got it. Ty Singman, president and owner of Liberty Home Services. Find him online again at
HomeServicesLLC.com.
LibertyHomeServicesLLC.com. Google search him. You'll find him right there. Ty will get you taken care of there. 822, Need to Know Morning Show. This is